Welcome back to Under Oath. Today I have the great fortune of interviewing voice actor and impressionist Jeff Bergman. Jeff, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, Doc. I'm not into Brooklyn or the Bronx. I'm in Los Angeles, but I'm doing good.
I love that, but I'm never quite sure how to ask the person I'm interviewing. I don't want to go like dance, monkey dance, because you do so many voices.
No, that's a good thing, Jeff. It's always good because when they don't ask, that's when you get worried. If they don't want to hear you. So that's a good thing.
Now, what I love is I grew up with, I own a lot of production cells. I have my own version of Mel Blanc's signed original production cells, and I've always had a great love for it. And we all think we can do these characters on a certain level. But you've done it so well that you put tapes together for auditioning where you put the original voice actor and you, and the people, it was indistinguishable.
Well, it's a nervy thing to have done, but you have to get seen. You have to find a way to distinguish yourself from all the other competition. So I put together a tape that had two audio channels. One was Mel Blanc doing Bugs and Daffy and Sylvester, and the other was an open channel. So I put my voice on that open channel, and so they could toggle back and forth. And I guess it was a gutsy thing to do, but that was first getting me noticed. But I still had to audition in the conventional manner where, you show up or you make a tape. And
I can't even imagine how hard that is when you're going, okay, I want to be the Bugs Bunny. And, Disney's had actors forever who's played Mickey, Minnie, all these characters. And when they say, hey, guess what? Do they say you're officially it or you're one of the three people we use?
Well, for Warner Brothers, it was really tough because Mel Blanc had just passed away.
Okay.
Oddly enough, he passed away on my birthday, and 3 weeks later, they're casting for Tiny Toons, and so they had a canon of Looney Tunes voices that they had to get from Bugs to Daffy and all of them, and so the casting had to happen very quickly. But I had been working on those characters for years because I met Mel when I was in college. So I already was so familiar with how I sounded in the recording studio because I would go into the studio and work with different engineers and work at different studios and get very accustomed to hearing myself. So, but it was difficult because he was mythic. I mean, he was the Hank Aaron, the Babe Ruth, right? So the comparisons were, and it's the fans because you don't want to mess with anybody's childhood.
Nope.
I mean, people, that's sacred. People know that. So I knew the responsibility that I had because I myself am a fan. So, it's a lot of work. It really is. But I love it,
Yeah, I remember when he passed and they put out this cell and it was, all these characters like crying over the mic and everything. And it was like, it's so devastating that it's a piece of your childhood gone. And
yes, 100%.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, you're dealing with that again, in Toy Story 5, where you're replacing an actor who passed. I mean, an icon. You have a guy like Don Rickles who's ridiculous. I mean, and does it just come to you or does somebody go, hey, they obviously know you do his voice, or did they not even have a clue?
No, they didn't have a clue. I wasn't even on the radar for Pixar and the director. They were looking at really high-profile actors and comedians. But, again, it was a similar thing. When you have a deep connection to something, I had a deep connection to Mel Blanc. I knew him from the Jack Benny show. My father loved that show. And so that was my first introduction. Well, Rickles, I mean, we're talking, I'll go back 58 years ago when my parents were listening to the Hello Dummy album in the late 60s, getting sloshed with their neighbors, and I'm at the top of the stairs giggling. I don't know what I'm laughing at, but they're laughing, so I'm laughing. And that was my first experience with Don Rickles. I was an 8-year-old kid playing with the Mr. Potato Head. So who thought that those worlds would ever collide? So again, it was part of the zeitgeist, my DNA growing up with Don Rickles and he's my favorite entertainer of all time. So I'm not going to say that that's a natural fit, but again, that it was something that really spoke to me. many years ago.
Now, people don't realize how hard this is for people. I mean, for example, I wrote this children's book and I used to narrate it and do all the characters, and they go, well, just go in and do the DVD. And after 8 hours, I couldn't talk anymore. I wasn't trained. I'm not a professional. So I couldn't talk like for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Warming up is a very important thing, but it's not just warming up and using your voice, effectively, efficiently in a session, but it's what you do before and after that, meaning just talking on the phone like us.
Right.
You have to learn how to use your voice properly, so you're not going to burn yourself out, because it's like we're like a pair of treads. Our voices, you're not going to get the wear back on the tires, so you really have to use that instrument.
Well, you're in the
properly.
studio a lot. And I guess when you leave there, you go, okay, like you said, it's exercise. I mean, how do you protect that voice?
Oh, that's a very simple, easy question. If I have a 4-hour session, that's it. I'm silent for 15, 16, 18 straight hours. That's it. Your body has to repair. It's just like being up really late. Your heart, your brain has to rest. So it's the same thing with your voice. But we take it for granted because we think, oh, I'll wake up, I'll just be able to sound great. That doesn't work that way. And there's certain foods. I mean, I don't drink wine. There's no alcohol. I try to be very careful with dairy beverages because they can make you very phlegmy. And, chocolate and peanut butter, which who doesn't love that? Lip smacking, I mean, there's so much that you have to care for your vocal instrument.
One of the tough things I dealt with the other day was we do a lot of promos. We do, I do like 8 different shows. I'm worn out. Somebody actually AI'd my voice the other day, and they're going, "What do you think of this?" And I'm listening to it, and I didn't know it was AI. And the minute I heard it, I go, "There's no heart to that." I said, I could not have done that because I know my cadence. I know the way I do things. And I'm going, "Is there something wrong with this recording?" And they're going, "Yeah, it's AI." And I'm going,
I love that you brought this up. I mean, I've done so many interviews and no one's ever said that to me, that their voice was AI. And so it's what you're saying is so true, because Michael Caine authorized that his voice could be AI'd. And so there was something out. We could all hear it. I mean, I just remember, I don't know if it was on YouTube, but I heard it and I said to my wife, I can beat this. I can beat the AI that he authorized for his own voice because of what you just said. There were no peaks and there were no hills and valleys in the voice, right? There was very little emotion. It was his voice, but just almost not quite monotone, but it had very little variety.
That's the hard thing. We're in the wild, wild west now, and it's only getting worse on a daily basis. And I guess, there has to be protections for that. Because it's unfair to the artist, it's unfair to the actor, and I'm just wondering, how do you protect that, or do you, or is it just done?
Well, look, we have the Screen Actors Guild. We have SAG-AFTRA. They have been doing, I think, a wonderful job to be front and center about how to work with the industry, managers, agents, and we're all negotiating for the right of first refusal. For example, if you sign on for a job, right, and they say we reserve the right to AI your voice if we need certain dialogue, certain scenes changed, and that's where your manager and agent, if it doesn't say it in the contract, to say no, we reserve the right of first refusal to be able to bring our actor in or performer, or if you want to do it, you have to get our permission first. So as long as you're certain that is either in the contract, and many times it is already, but sometimes it isn't. And if it isn't, then you want to make sure, to do that. But I also think there's another thing. Even if we have the protection, right? How do we deal with a generation that's accustomed to vertical content, that's all that they know? So that's where you said, when you identified, that's not my voice, that's not really me. We have to, to me, the biggest inspiration is to be able to sell young children, people of our ensuing generations, on how great and how special magical live performance is. So it just inspires me to be that much of a better performer, to outperform AI, because AI will eventually get better and better.
Every model.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
One of the things I realized with my limited version of voice acting is that, when I got in the booth and I did multiple voices, I go, "Do you want to do separate tracks?" And they go, "No, no, just move into them." And I was good at it because I had done this book so many times. But for a lot of other people, they're going, you look like you're schizophrenic. I mean, how are you moving from voice to voice to voice? And when you do multiple voices, is it multiple takes, or are you that good that you can just shift in and out of them and basically indistinguishably be able to move that range?
Well, if you're doing if I'm doing say a session and it's Bugs and Daffy and Elmer, I can go from voice to voice. Harry Shearer from The Simpsons talks about going from Mr. Burns to
Yeah.
Smithers, but I do think that um, if for preference, I would rather do Fred Flintstone, do all those lines separately, and then do Barney
Yeah.
Rubble. I would rather approach it that way, only because you're so into that character and the physicality. My body changes. I mean, if I do Barney Rubble, you'll tell me, but there's something different. Oh, watch me trick Fred out of his Cocoa Pebbles. Oh, there's my bosom buddy Barney Rubble, Fred Flintstone. Oh, come on, Barney, hold it, Rubble. There's a whole different
Yeah.
feeling. I mean, I can switch quickly, for sure. I mean, that's just how I'm wired. My brain is wired, and I practiced for so many years. But still, there's a nuance that you're not going to
Right.
get if you don't do them separately.
Now you're doing Don Rickles, and I could see it on your face. I could see it on my face when I do things. When you do
Yeah.
the Don Rickles voice, I mean, can you see it in the face, or is it just comes out through the back?
Jeff, it was so crazy. It blew my mind when I did a video for TikTok and Instagram. It was like about 2 years ago. I didn't know that I was looking a little like Don Rickles when I did his voice until after I saw it back, and I went, "Oh my God!" I had that kind of that wide sort of alligator mouth smile, and I'm like, "My God, I don't look anything like," but I did look a little like him. So, I mean, it was crazy. It's crazy to see that. I don't see that often because if I'm doing it for people, they see it. People go, "Oh, you look like De Niro when you do his face," or when you do the voice. So it was mind blowing to see that.
Well, I can't tell. I'm so much looking forward to this. I can't wait to hear the voice, and I want to be fooled. I want to be fooled so badly. And Toy
Oh,
Story 5 comes out. It's been I can't tell you how great it's been talking to you, Jeff. And good luck with everything, okay?
thank you so much, Jeff. And I guess we'll sign off by saying,
It's a play. That's all, folks.